Hey there, this is Mr. Icarus, and welcome to the channel update for November 2016. What a year we've been having so far, just in general. It's been strange, it's been bizarre, we've lost some notable celebrities like David Bowie, Brexit happened, everyone went nuts over Pokemon Go for what felt like a very small, concentrated period of time, and much more recently, America decided that Donald Trump should be its next president. Surprising even me, to be perfectly honest, because you only had to take a look at the news and see the sheer amount of coverage that was dedicated to bigging up Hillary Clinton. I wouldn't be surprised a lot of people thought she might have been a shoo-in, but no. We've now got Donald Trump, and you know what? Fine, that's the way the news goes. That's how the democratic process works. And the next 4 years or so in America are going to be a very, very interesting time. And you know what? I genuinely hope things improve. I genuinely hope that Donald Trump can be a force for good. What I don't think is a force for good right now is all those retarded protesters in the streets blocking highways, making life an inconvenience. An inconvenience? No, a misery. That's the word that I meant to use. For everyone else. They're probably pissing off people who didn't vote for Trump in the first place. These poor friggin' commuters in certain states having to sit there while these just rampaging douchebags are sat in the middle of the road saying, "We didn't want this." Get on with your lives. Get on with your goddamn lives. I don't care who you voted for, just play some fucking Doom. Seriously, pick your poison. Could be classic Doom games, Doom 1, Doom 2, could be Doom 3, it could even be New Doom, doesn't matter. Each one of them brings their own particular thing to the table, and crucially, all of them allow you to vent, allow you to get a little bit of catharsis in your life. And I just feel like if people indulged in that kind of catharsis a little bit more often, the world would feel like a little bit more of a saner place. I should probably stress, however, that I am not advocating any sort of real-world Purge-Like behavior. That is, quite frankly, counterproductive, just in case you might have gotten the wrong idea from what I meant by catharsis. No, my brand of catharsis is purely virtual, and ideally that's the way I'd like it to stay. So, anyway, enough of me trying to heal the world's woes via Doom. What's been going on with the channel as of late? Well, since the last update, we passed through the arse end of Spooky Month. I managed to dredge up a few vaguely spooky mods. We had Zombies, which is actually a fantastic update to a very old Total Conversion mod. Definitely well worth checking out if you're a fan of classic George Romero zombie films. And there was also Ghosted 2, which was an experience, to say the least. It's not the kind of experience I normally enjoy, but it certainly does get a reaction out of me. It followed the old Slender template of generally startling the ever-loving crap out of the player. And I gotta admit, it's effective, it works, but there's only so much you can kind of squeeze out of that template. But I can't deny that Ghosted 2 is actually pretty well made. There was certainly a degree of atmosphere surrounding the core startle concept, and I've got to credit it for that. More recently, we had Brutal Doom 64, which wasn't quite what I was expecting, probably wasn't quite what the majority of people were expecting, but all the same, a pretty interesting way to experience Doom 64 if you never had the opportunity to play it yourself back in the day. And by the time this particular video goes live, you should all have been able to lay your eyes upon the total chaos. I mean, wow, what a fantastic looking Doom mod. I'm still trying to process it, to be perfectly honest. The sheer amount of effort that must have gone into the creation of that. It's certainly taken an extremely long time to get here, and there's still more to come, which just fills me with a tremendous sense of excitement. So, yeah, if you haven't checked it out by now, go check that video, download the open alpha for yourself, and just experience it. Soak it up, because it's pretty goddamn impressive. So, outside of Doom mod, you only need to look at the screen right now to discover what's currently dominating most of my time, which is, of course, Titanfall 2. Good grief, that is a rather fun game. And the campaign as well, that's something I didn't quite expect, turned out to be tremendously satisfying. Even though it's relatively short, all things considered, there's a tremendous amount of variety packed in there, and in all honesty, it's the kind of thing that I'd like to experience again at a higher difficulty, something I may definitely do at some point in the future. I've still got collectibles as well to discover during the course of those single-player missions, which form these kind of mini parkour puzzles. It's cool, extremely well-designed stuff, but the real meat of this, the stuff that keeps me coming back right now, is most assuredly the multiplayer. Now, I know there's a lot of concern out there with regards to the player population of Titanfall 2, but in all honesty, as it stands right now, I've had absolutely no trouble getting into the vast majority of game modes. The matchmaking's been pretty straightforward, pretty quick. There seems to be a lot of people willing to vary it up and not just stick to the same 2 game modes over and over and over. However, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. The player population is relatively low, especially in comparison to stuff like Battlefield 1 and Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. What I do hope will happen is that all of that genuinely positive word of mouth for Titanfall 2 will finally start sinking in, and more people will actually decide to take the plunge, because the problem of worrying about low player population is that it's a little bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy. If you're hesitant on pulling the trigger on purchasing something like this because of a factor like that, you are in fact directly contributing to the problem. The only way to remedy it is to dive in and add to the population to help that player count go up. And honestly, there's no reason not to if you're interested, because all future DLC for this is going to be free. That's friggin' fantastic. Now, I know, it's EA. They could turn around at any moment and stab us in the back and say, oh, no, now we're introducing microtransactions. But I'm willing to take the chance on this. I'm willing to reward that promise. And if it pans out, then, you know what? This is probably going to be one of my favorite games of the year as a result, because as it stands, it's already a tremendously strong game. Tremendously satisfying multiplayer. I mean, my class of choice right now is Grapple Hook, because swinging around like Spider-Man is friggin' fantastic. And yeah, I just genuinely want to see something like this succeed. It's fresh. It's something a little bit different. And you know what? It would just be an absolute crying shame for this to fade away, because then we're just saying that we want more of the Call of Duty. We want more of the DLC. We want more of the season passes. We want more of the microtransaction supply drop bullshit that's currently being foisted in Infinite Warfare, and that'd be a damn shame. A damn shame indeed. Anyway, just a few more things for me to mop up here in this edition of the channel update. First of which being, I've noticed a few comments asking what the music is that's playing during the end slate of some of my more recent Doom Mod Madness videos. Now, the end slate, if you're not aware, is the bit that has the subscribe for more text and all my social media links, and I'm happy to say that the music playing in those ever since the Zombies video is music that I've personally made myself. I know, a shocker, right? I also make music, and if you're interested in hearing the full versions of those tracks and many others, just point yourself to the SoundCloud link that is in the description below. I accept no responsibility for any bleeding eardrums. I know my music is utterly terrible, but either way, I hope you enjoy it all the same. So, with that out of the way, there's one very important thing left for me to carry out, and that is, of course, the big badass shout-out for my Nutter tier patrons. Thank you very much to Ben Rosenberg, Incursion Gerbil, JMAA, and Fenrir Wolf. You are all absolutely fantastic. Not forgetting, of course, my Loon tier patrons. Names on screen right there. You are also utterly fantastic. And if you're interested in supporting me via Patreon yourself, the link is of course in the description below. Depending on your contribution, you'll have your name on screen at the end of the channel update, or a big ol' silly big badass shout out. Also, something that I've recently added is early access. So if you really love my Doom Mod Madness videos and you want to get them a little earlier than everyone else, I typically put them up for my patrons, sometimes up to 48 hours before they appear on the channel on Friday. So yeah, there you go. Hopefully you've enjoyed this edition of the channel update. Feel free to let me know your thoughts in the comments below. This has been Mr. Icarus. Thank you very much for watching. Icarus out.